Hey there, welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to break down the layering of the chord stack you just heard. The first and most important layer is the bass. I've seen many people underestimating the power of a bass layer in a chord stack and just using a sine as their low end. The low end in my chord stack sounds like this. So what we basically have here is an operator playing a sine wave, and then it's going into a dynamic tube, a saturator in EQ3 with a notch, another saturator, another EQ3, and another saturator with some digital clip. And then I'm cutting out lots of the mids in which the chord stack has its main frequencies. So what I'm essentially using is the low end and the high end of this bass, and together it creates the perfect foundation for your chord stack. Without the EQ, it has way more mids, but the mids are going to clash with the chord stack. So this is why I cut out the mids right here. The next layer is the super source layer, and I'm using the Chaos Source by AO5. He made a video about that 4 years ago, and in my opinion, these are the best source you can get. So just watch the video, build the patch from scratch like AO5 explains it, and then you will end up with source which sound like this. And I'm using these super source because they are super bright, super full, and also sounding perfect in my opinion, so why not using it? And then I'm processing the bass and the super source together in a group with some processing which glues everything together. In my opinion, that's also a really important step. Without the post-processing, currently it sounds like this. Already not bad, but with my processing it now sounds like this. You can hear that it sounds tighter and more compressed. I also added some reverb, which is being modulated in the gaps. The first step in the processing chain is backcomp, so I used it to glue everything together. Right now it's looking a little bit bugged because I used a pre-release version, which now is missing the UI, but of course it's still working and doing the job. And this is what it sounds like with this backcomp. And without, you can definitely hear the difference. After that, I added an ambassador to just boost the low end fundamental frequency of the bass, so it just keeps hitting the loudest without and with. Definitely a difference, and the low end sounds more powerful. I have an auto filter here which is being automated later on in the drop to create some movement, so nothing special here. And then we have the reverb which is being automated. I'm automating the mix, the character, the brightness, and the stereo width to create a dynamic feel of the reverb. So it's basically sweeping in and out. This is what the automation is looking like. And by default, I also have like 10% of the reverb mixed in during the chord stack playing. And that's basically it for the foundation. After that, I just have some N6 here, which I'm using in the external mode because I'm using them for spectral sidechaining to make room for other elements which were playing on top of that chord stack. I basically made some space. The next layer is the pad layer, which is playing the same notes as the chord stack before. I'm using a pad from the VPS arranger right here. It's the Santa Maria pad from the Factory 2 library. And without my post-processing, it sounds like this. And I cut out the mids here because the mids are mostly being utilized by the chord stack. I just wanted to fill some of the frequencies. And I also added some Pro R reverb for some more stereo imaging. You can hear that it sounds super wild. Without the reverb and with the reverb, it feels way more spread in the stereo image, which is exactly what I wanted to create a nice and dense chord stack at the end. After that, we have a lead stack. With the lead stack, I wanted to emphasize some of the most important notes from the chords. I'm just using 3 presets from the VPS arranger, which are layered on top of each other. The VPS arranger is basically a nexus on crack because you have so much possibilities to customize your sounds. I did not want to spend hours designing the leads myself, and this is why I layer 3 patches on top. The first patch sounds like this. The second patch, a little bit more distorted. And the final patch, I also added some reverb for some more stereo spread and some EQing. After EQing all these 3 patches together, I added an N-Silk to compensate for the annoying frequencies right here. And right now with the first 4 layers, it sounds like this. Already pretty nice and pretty full and also pretty wide, which is really cool. Now we have some plain source, which was just a serum without any processing, I think. Yeah, I just added some saw waves without any external processing besides the EQ right here. I always just play 2 notes at the same time, and this helps emphasizing some of the notes from the chord stack. And finally, we have a phaseplant with another saw and with a custom wavetable modulating the semitone amount right here. Shout out Nasko for recommending this technique to me, and this helps creating a really detuned saw. We also have some spec comp on here and some EQing and hybrid reverb for a wet flavor. Altogether, the chord stack sounds like this now. That's a really nice result so far. In the second half, I added a lead on top, which sounds like this. And I used the VPS arranger for this, and it consists of 3 layers. We have the main lead layer, which is just a saw with some vibrato on top. Then we have a saw stack on top, which was one of the multi-samples from the VPS arranger. And we have a detuned layer at the beginning. I'm automating plenty of stuff throughout this patch. I think it took me 3 hours setting up all the automations for this and getting it right, but it was so much fun turning this sound alive. And what I'm doing here is automating the amount of the FM. We also have a flanger, which is being automated throughout the track. I'm also turning on and off the saw stack and the detuned layer. We even have more macros for the vibrato rate, the delay, and the feedback and width of the delay, the amount of OTT, and the reverb. On all of these layers, we have some OTT and some EQing. Then we have a send with a delay and some vintage flanger and some more reverb on top. For the external processing, I added some more spec comp and some Valhalla Supermassive for some more stereo width, but not that much. I EQ'd out the mids and the low end. I added a hybrid reverb on top for some more room and flavor. And finally an N-Silk, which I'm using on the external mode in the breakdown to automatically cut out frequencies which are needed for a different sound in the breakdown. So what I'm doing here in 2 words is spectral sidechaining. Together with all layers and some background sounds I added, it sounds like this in the context. And that's it for today's video. If you want to check out the full song, it's out now on SoundCloud and on Audios. It's a remix for UK's song Thief, which he did a remix contest for, so make sure to check it out. Also feel free to visit my video description, in which I have affiliate links for Plugin Boutique and for the Melda production site. So if you want to grab any plugins in the future, make sure to use my affiliate links. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like and comment, which helps a lot with the algorithm. And that's it for today. See you in the next video. Have a great day and goodbye.